Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Ears to the East, where today we're talking about BAND-MAID, but not just BAND-MAID. No, a bit of BAND-MAID and a little bit of Incubus. Well, more specifically, one person from Incubus. But I'll just quickly, because there's been a couple of bits of BAND-MAID news bounding around, so I'm just going to quickly give if you like, a catch up to anyone who's not as far into all of this. And apologies for all of you who are, but here's a quick catch up. So basically, at the 10th anniversary Yokohama blah 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 thing that I was at. Yay! At that show, BAND-MAID ended the show as usual by having a little announcement about upcoming projects, and the one that they mentioned, which caught a lot of people's eyes, was the fact that they wanted to do some collaborations with overseas artists. A few names were already suspected, like The Warning. We found out that they are going to do a live show with The Warning in Tokyo. And as we have talked about on this channel, there is a feeling that that's probably going to lead to a song, because let's face it, if you're talking about collaborations, that probably means something in the studio. And then on top of that, a few people have mentioned to me that, oh, well, you know, BAND-MAID have toured a lot with Incubus, so maybe an Incubus thing will come up. And well, on April the 1st, timely and in the morning, just to make us think it was an April Fool's joke, Miku from BAND-MAID had to respond to a lot of people who suddenly had noticed that BAND-MAID themselves had announced that there was going to be a collaboration with Mike Einziger from Incubus. You can tell how much I know about him. I'll just quickly read here. Worldwide distribution of a single called Bestie by BAND-MAID will be on April 17th. Words by Miku Kubato, and music is by BAND-MAID and Michael Einziger. So I don't know if he's actually appearing on the song himself. I would imagine it's possible, but basically he is definitely going to be involved in writing it. It also says BAND-MAID will perform a special guest at Incubus's Japan concert on May the 1st. Blah, 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 stuff about seats. It says Michael Einstein, two-time Grammy Award nominated. Who cares? Songwriter, musician, and producer Michael founded the multi-platinum band Incubus, co-wrote Avicii. Oh God, why does he only work with names that can't be said? Avicii's worldwide smash "Wake Me Up" and attended Harvard University. I mean, to be honest, the only points of these which I find particularly worth mentioning is that, well, look, he obviously knows how to write a hit, because he wrote that song that apparently is very popular that I've never heard of, and and also, you know, he's you know well, he founded Incubus, which we'll get onto in a minute, but I know Incubus is very popular, and he's got a name that sounds a little bit like Einstein. So the guy has clearly got the credentials. But yeah, this sounds pretty exciting. Now, of course, it's generally regarded that on this channel I am the BAND-MAID correspondent. But as we're going to get into, I think at this point, I don't know a huge amount about Incubus. Do you know anything about Incubus?
I do know actually quite a bit about Incubus.
Good.
But to be honest with you, I kind of thought they fucking ended about 10 years ago. They've been around forever. I know I saw this announcement, and then I went from excited to thinking about it to kind of confused to kind of like, how was this going to work?
You
Um,
should have like the several stages of
there's several
realization.
stages of grief to this announcement. Because I read it as like, oh, it's going to be BAND-MAID and Incubus, and then I was thinking, my first thought was like, Incubus, how's that going to work? I was like, the style is quite different, so I was kind of like, oh, it could be something different, and then I realized, well, it's not really Incubus, it's one guy from Incubus, and then I was thinking,
But seemingly the guy.
the guy from Incubus, but then I was thinking to myself, is he going to be on the song? Is he just going to write the song,
Yeah.
produce it? I got more questions than answers from that. So it kind of went from, oh, band collab to, okay, it's not a band collab, it's a person collab, to, is he gonna be on it, or is he just writing a song for BAND-MAID? And I gotta be honest with you, if it just turns out to be BAND-MAID written by, you know, the guy from Incubus, I'll be honest with you, I'm gonna be kind of a little bit disappointed with that.
I'm in a weird position on this one, because the thing is that, and I noticed that when I posted, we did a video about the BAND-MAID warning thing. I did one on my channel as well, and a couple of people said, yeah, so there were some people who were really excited, some people in the middle, and some people who just weren't big fans of the warning at all, and they were like, oh well, you know, I kind of just rather it didn't. Some people actually said I'd rather it just didn't happen and they moved on. To me, it's a case of, well, look, if we're getting anything, so long as it's not stopping us getting other music, then hey, why not just have a little bit more? And it seems that BAND-MAID have stated that they're focusing on writing, they're releasing an album which seems to be their own material this year as well. So all of this seems to be just bonus content, or maybe it is parts of the album.
Yeah, that's how I'm going to take this. It's just a little bit of fun. I hope they don't fall into the same trap as Baby Metal did with Metali, where it was essentially just a Baby Metal song with like 30 seconds of Tom Morello in there, and that was it.
This is the comparison actually I was going to make as well, is that because if you look at something like Metali, which I'm assuming most people who listen to this have heard, Tom Morello, I mean, he's an instrumentalist anyway. He's not a vocal. Well, he does actually sing, but he's not primarily a vocalist. His input very obviously was that solo at the end, but I think he's left his fingerprints on other parts of the song as well. Like you can kind of hear Tom Morello in the riff that underscores a lot of the song. So I get the feeling that his identity is kind of baked into the music. The problem with this fella is I'm not overly familiar with his identity, but I mean, seemingly he's a hit maker, which is great. But as you say, if he's just writing the song, I don't know. I mean, I guess if you know Incubus and if you like this, they got a signature sound that you're going to recognize and feel coming through, then it's going to mean something to you. But as someone like me who doesn't really know Incubus, then either they're going to give BAND-MAID a smash hit single, which then I'm going to feel weird about because it's like they're going to have to play this song that's really, really popular, but I'm going to be like, yeah, that's the one BAND-MAID song that isn't BAND-MAID. And let's face it, they don't play their old album stuff so much anymore, specifically for that reason. I mean, we were lucky to see them play Thrill when they did. So that's going to be really weird if they suddenly get a smash hit single like that. But, or he's going to give them a song that isn't going to be particularly hit. And it'll be like interesting, but you'll be like, oh, well, it would have been nice to hear you on the song musically as well, just to sort of like cement your presence in some way. But so I can't, it's one of those things you can't object. There's nothing to complain about here, but you're kind of like thinking, well, shouldn't you be on the song? I mean, what does he do? He's a singer, right? I'm assuming he's a singer. Maybe we should look this up. I'm going to look this up. It didn't say in the announcement. Let's look it up. All right. So Michael Einstein.
I'm just looking at.
I actually typed that in and it immediately found
it. Actually immediately found it. Jesus Christ.
All right. So first picture that comes up is a guy playing guitar and there's not a microphone in front of him. But now there's a mic. So okay, so he can sing and he plays guitar. Oh, here we go. Occupations: musician, songwriter, record producer, instruments, guitar. Doesn't say vocals. Okay. But there are pictures of him singing. So okay, so all right, maybe he will just play a bit of guitar on it. I don't know. I just kind of like, I guess this thing, I hope I feel the difference. And in a way, I hope this doesn't turn out to be BAND-MAID's most popular song ever, because that would just kind of like grate a little bit, wouldn't it?
It's a weird one, isn't it? Like it's one of those. I kind of like we said at the beginning. It was like kind of like 7 stages of grief a little bit, or like I kind of saw the announcement. It was like, yay! And then the more I kind of saw it, and the more I started thinking about it, the more I was kind of like, how is this gonna work? And I was like, I'm kind of a little bit. I'm probably more fearful of it than excited for it right now, which is a really weird feeling.
I think I'm only fearful, like I say, because if the guy has got like songwriting chops of writing really big hits, my only fear, like I say, is if he wrote a really big hit, it took off for them, and suddenly this became the song that everyone knew them for, but it wasn't one that they'd written.
I don't think Incubus would have been on anybody's like top 100 lists to collaborate with BAND-MAID with either. So,
okay,
that is also another point where I'm kind of like,
I don't want to be a downer on that.
No.
I think that although I can see what you mean, and I've heard a few people say that comments wise, I'm sure there are a lot of people who are excited as well. And of course, it's a little bit difficult for me to give much of a comment because obviously I'm not a big Incubus fan because I haven't really followed them. I must admit, the last time I paid any attention to them it must have been about, I don't know how old they are, but I think it was about 20 years ago.
Yeah, they've been around a long time.
Okay, the friend who I remember playing Incubus to me really cool guy. We don't really speak so much anymore, but that was like years ago. And I remember we were like in like a home studio about 20 years ago as teenagers when he played it to me, and he was really into it. And I remember listening to it at the time and going, this is interesting, but isn't like so much my thing. But yeah, it's got some identity. So I clearly don't have enough fandom to really comment on this. You haven't even been aware of their existence for the last decade. So I would be interested in the comments to know how people who are fans of Incubus see this going. So it's not so much that we can comment on the musical side, but I guess really conceptually, and this is interesting when you go into a collaboration not really knowing what one of the collaborators is, and
It's
also not expecting to hear them on the
yeah.
album. I guess I would want it to be something stylistically so different from what we're used to from BAND-MAID that you're like, oh, okay, that's really different.
I feel like that's what I'm most excited for with this announcement. I'm more excited about the mystery of it all and how it's going to work and how much
Yeah.
impact he's going to have on the song and the band itself. Is he going to be in the song? Is he going to be doing guitar? Is he writing it? But you know, because there's a difference between writing and producing. You know, there's a massive difference there. And so I'm just wondering if this. I'm like, is it going to be like a band-made song with their identity, but just with a slight bit of his production on it, or is it going to be his call with band-made kind of
I
layered
I
over that?
kind of
It's the mystery of it more that I'm excited for. I'm excited to see how it turns out, but I'm cautious about it as well at the same time.
yeah, I mean, I just noticed it said he co-wrote Avicii's worldwide smash "Wake Me Up." So okay, so I mean, it's interesting. So he's done co-writing and stuff before. I guess in a way you've got a point there. My hope would be that it would be something where, I mean, again, I really want to feel like you can feel the DNA of a collaboration where it feels genuinely different, where even if he's not musically, recordedly on the song still feels like something totally out there. I want it to feel like that, where you listen to it and you go, okay, this is really different. Then I think I would really enjoy that as just an experiment. And I've said this so many times. One of my favorite things about BAND-MAID, I know I keep on repeating it, but for anyone who's new here, one of my favorite things about BAND-MAID is that they might be a great rock band, but that's not the whole thing. They can put out a memorable, a page, and about us. They can do something totally outside of what other rock bands would usually be brave enough or even capable of doing, and deliver it with just the same quality, showing that they choose to do rock rather than being limited by it.
Yeah.
And thus, I would hope that whatever this fella is doing with them, it's one of those things where it takes them to a place where people are going to be like, whoa, that is not what I expected from BAND-MAID. But the problem is where BAND-MAID usually do that, where BAND-MAID usually drop a memorable or an about us or a start over, and people go, BAND-MAID. My worry is that if they now do something really different with this fella, people are going to be like, what did he do to band?
Here's a scary question for you that might make you cringe. I know you were just telling me
Okay,
then about the
how
history.
much coffee do I need for this? Because I'm running a bit low. All right, go on. I'm gonna hug the
Like
coffee.
you said with the with some of the hits that is written with like wake me up when it's all over.
Oh, is
Um,
that it? You know the song?
I
Okay,
know
right.
that song. Um, do you think this could be in English?
Well, Miku did the words apparently. So it would, because it does say on the announcement. I'm just going to read that back,
Mm.
but I don't know which, because I've got so many bits of information. I don't know what I'm going to be putting on the screen. So anyone who's watching this, whatever you see on the screen,
Mm.
I didn't know when
I,
we were
I
recording.
personally, I
It
really hope
says,
not.
I mean, well, look, if you're asking me what I hope,
Mm.
you know my feeling on this, and
Yeah.
I know this sounds such a weeby thing, but to be honest, unless someone is fluent in English, I just don't want them to sing in English, and partly because of the fact that it's like it feels like a thing that when people do it, they're doing it to appease. And yes, it can be a fun musical thing to occasionally throw in some words in a different language. But if you do an entire song in a language that you have to rely on textbooks and translators to understand, even though it's your song, that is a net negative. That's never going to be you at your optimum. And it
Mm.
feels like a bit of a gimmick when people do that. I'm not saying it is. I know there's other bands who really trade in it, like bands like Love Bites and everything. But I just don't feel like that's what I really want myself. And if Miku's writing the lyrics, she's very playful with the Japanese language. So rather than seeing her trying to put something together in English, I would love to see her just do it in Japanese. and hopefully Michael and Zeiger will give her something very different to work with. And if he gives her a really different palette, then maybe we'll be like, thank you, Michael Enzyme, for giving her such a different
Enzyme.
for giving her such a different tapestry on which to write. But yeah, I still want her to be Miku and write in Japanese.
I'm excited for it, but like I don't feel like I'm as hyped as I would be if it was like a collab with another band that I personally liked or loved or I thought would work well with them. It definitely feels a little bit left field, this one. I know, but I know obviously if they've toured together, they're probably friends and they've got history and stuff like that. It's just definitely one I would never have put together. So
I
I'm
guess it's one of
interested.
those ones where even if you can expect the announcement, it's hard to know. And I kind of agree with what you said earlier. It's hard to know what to expect. And so the excitement really is hoping to be surprised. I think that's the thing. I want to be surprised. I want to listen to this song,
Good
whether I
surprise.
like it
Not
yeah,
Ryan
I mean,
Johnson surprised.
look, that's subverted. Like, whatever we get from this, I want to listen to it and go, well, I'm glad you tried that.
Yeah.
It could be something that I love. It could be something that I hate. It could be anywhere in between. I mean, I'm always going to be honest. I'm not just going to go, oh, it's BAND-MAID, so I like it. Or I'm not, and I'm also not going to go, oh, it's Michael Engage, so I hate it. I'm going to be like, whatever happens, I'm going to listen to it and value it as what it is. But so long as I leave it going, well, that was different. Nice. That was different. And I suspect that they wouldn't do this collaboration if they were just going to sort of chuck out something that BAND-MAID could have done on their own. So yeah, maybe
Yeah.
he's going to write in extra session instruments and things that we don't expect. Maybe he's going to put them onto instruments we don't usually hear them playing. Who knows what it could be? But I think this is I want to be surprised. I want to be listening to it going, that's not what I expected from BAND-MAID. And if that's what I get, then whether the song's good or not, I'll be happy. And I just hope it doesn't become, like I say, I have no reason to believe this, but I just desperately hope this doesn't become like their most popular song, like overseas, thus crushing
Oh, that's
all
what
of
I'm
the.
thinking. It really is like depending on how they're trying to write this. Like if you're hiring somebody of his ilk for a collab, my worst fear hearing this announcement was my initial thought was it's going to be a collab with Incubus, and then the more I read about it, the more I realized oh, it's not Incubus, it's just him from Incubus. And then obviously we're talking about production and some of the songs that he's written that have been hits. My fear now is they're writing a song that for like America, like that's my
Well,
fear. That's where my fear of this collab is coming from a little bit.
I know this is really left field for me to do this because this was just like a song he co-wrote, but I just checked out Avicii because I thought you did like dance music, and it appears he does like dance and DJ music. Or so as a result, it's like
Wake me
one of those
up
ones where
when it's all over.
I don't know.
And
I
I'm
mean,
wiser and up. It is a great song, to
if
be
we
fair.
get a copyright strike for that, so but the thing is, right, is that like I just now I got the image of like a dance song with Miku, and just the only lyric she's done is po 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 po.
I mean, that could really work though. Like
The pigeon song,
if it was like
the
him
Hator
and
dance,
just like Miku by herself was Kloppo, I actually would probably think that would could actually
Kloppo.
work. Kloppo, whatever it was.
I'm going to call it Kloppo from now on.
Kloppo. Kloppo. You know,
Sounds like the sound that clogs
like
make.
if it was just her doing that with Michael Fassbender, then I actually think it would be a great collab. But with
Oh
BAND-MAID
man.
as a
Well,
whole, I'm kind of listening to it. I'm interested to see how it will work.
yeah, no, I kind of agree. I mean, like, uh, I think it's yeah. To be honest, I think it's kind of impressive that he's had time to do this collaboration here between doing all those Alien movies and being at Le Mans and everything. It's kind of impressive. So
I know.
yeah,
That's all we need a music video with Miko and Miku and
yeah.
Magneto.
Pigeon versus Magnet.
Yeah. Miku joining the X-Men. Pigeon powers. Rachel's sitting there with a rainbow.
I, I, someone is going to make this a thing now that we said that, but yeah, I guess really that's the furthest we can extrapolate from that, given the situation. But I think one thing that I would actually add, though, is obviously worth pointing out once again, BAND-MAID do have an intention apparently to release an album this year. Now, considering this is a guest writing, there's no reason to assume this might not actually be a song that will be on said album. But I'm going to assume that it's probably not, as they announced, as they put the album and their collaborations as two separate announcements. I mean, I'm going to assume that we're getting an album purely of BAND-MAID and then collaborations alongside it. So this is really interesting. I'll be interested to know whether this is going to be more of a BAND-MAID song we expect to hear on their album, or whether this is part of some separate collaboration thing they're building up. Also worth pointing out that they have announced that they will be appearing at the Rising Sun Rock Festival this year, 16th to 17th of August. Don't know what night they're playing. Quite a few bands have been announced for that.
I just hope I'm really proven wrong with this. That's my takeaway from this. I'm excited, but I'm kind of nervous about it, and I don't know. There's something about this announcement that doesn't sit right with me. It kind of gives me fucking Baby Metal Little Uzi Vert vibes, where they announced that, and I kind of looked at it and it was like, something about this doesn't sit well with me, and I don't have that levels of doubt with this, but I'm still kind of looking at it
like that dodgy, because it does seem like, I mean, I'm going to give this guy all the credit that he deserves for the fact that it does appear, not knowing his music, as well as, you know, that one song that he co-wrote, not knowing his music, I can't help but feel that the guy seems to certainly have his stripes. He seems to certainly, you know, he's a band member himself. You know, he's clearly comes with a certain degree of high regard and status. So I have every reason to trust that he is a talented person who will do something of actual value. And so I'm not, my downer is not on that. For me, my concern, well, overall, I feel excited because whatever it's going to be something involving BAND-MAID. So I'm looking forward to it. In the same way, I mean, I'm not a huge Warning fan, as we guys have said. I know the Warning much better, so I have more things to be excited about, but I'm not a huge Warning fan. I'm still excited for that collaboration, and thus I'm excited for this one. The thing is because there's more unknowns involved in this, and I'm not going to go check out his entire back catalogue. Sorry, I haven't got time for that. My general feeling is, it's kind of a slight fear of the unknown, combined with the fact that considering he seems to have like only a writing perspective, I'm just hoping that this has its clear identity within BAND-MAID's portfolio rather than getting too easily muddled with the rest of their output. So yeah, I guess my concerns are very, very not so much to do with the song being good or bad, just so much the way that it's presented. That's more my concern, is the way it's presented, and what it means for BAND-MAID career-wise, or career-wise, but the way that people look at it who maybe don't know the band. Anyway, this is all very much us surmising. I'm really interested to see what people say in the comments.
Yeah, let us know in the comments, like, how hyped are you? Is this a collaboration you want to see? Are you a fan of both bands? Like, honestly, let us know, because obviously me and Howard are coming into this probably not as the biggest Incubus but fans in the world. Both of us.
And what do you musically expect from it? I think is an important point.
I expect.
No, I mean that to the fans. To
them.
But you can say as well.
For me,
we don't know.
I expect a good kind of, like, I was going to say fast-paced song, but I don't know kind of what direction they're going to take it. It could very much be Incubus do some cracking slow burners as well.
Okay.
So I don't know. I really don't know the direction they could take it. Again, my knowledge of Incubus is about 10 years out of date.
Yeah, so we can't really comment on that.
So we can't. I can't really comment on.
All we have is fear.
Yeah, the fear of the unknown.
That should be a meme. Fear of the unknown.
But I'm excited. It kind of comes across with this episode that we're being overly negative a little bit, which I don't think. I just think it comes as a little bit of surprise. We're excited. But it is pretty much that. It's fear of the unknown and exactly how they're going to take this band, how they're going to take this collab. Because, like I said, if you announce like a band collab that you're going to do, you can kind of know what to expect. But as a production role or a songwriting role or whatever it is he's got, we don't really know. This song could go in so many different directions.
I guess it's that larger question though of like how you do approach because when you don't because let's be honest, we do not know what to expect because we do not know enough about Mr. Michael. Think of a
Fassbender.
word beginning with N. Yeah, okay. So we don't know enough about him to really have any opinions on what the song's going to be. But this raises that interesting question of how you approach a song when you don't know what it's going to be, because you are vested in what happens. And ultimately, I think the most important thing to take away from any of this, and I think the thing that I hope comes through, even if we've been maybe jumping over this point a little bit, is that ultimately we're all just excited for there to be any material. That's fine. But it is interesting because it's not so much, it's more a case of we're interested about what when you get an announcement, there's like hints in there, like the things that he's not going to appear on the song himself, seemingly. It kind of makes you think, okay, well, what is the creative reasoning for this? What creatively, where is this stemming from? When what is he going to do that is going to give him a value as a writer for a band who already seemingly has their writing chops more than sorted out? So I'm hoping that he adds something very identifiably different as a writer. But yeah, I think we're all excited for the song, but I think it's okay to sit on the fence and say, we'll know when it comes out.
Yeah, we're excited, but maybe a little bit of have our reservations as well at the same time, a little bit.
Realistic. We are realistic.
Yeah, realistic expectations of what we're. I don't want to go too much into the hype a little bit, I think. Even though we want to, I'm kind of, taking a step back.
Even if by some miracle, and I said it's by some nightmarish miracle, it ends up sucking, which I can't imagine happening, I will still value it for having happened, and then won't listen to it anymore. But
well, that's it, isn't it? If it sucks, you just don't listen to it. So...
Exactly. So it's no skin off your nose if it turns out to be a song that you don't like. But to be honest, I can't imagine it being something. Anything other than just an interesting thing, and hopefully it'll be a real banger, and hopefully it'll have enough identity to make it something worth having a collaboration for. Anyway,
I hope so as well. I hope so as well.
Let's leave this one up to the people who know. I'm really looking to see what people who know Incubus more can say in the comments. So get in the comments, let us know. And even if you're not an Incubus fan, give the guy credit. He's clearly earned his stripes. So if you're not an Incubus fan, give the guy credit. Let's not have any slander sessions. But if you are an Incubus fan, let us know what you think. If you're not an Incubus fan, let us know what you think are your positives and negatives, your hopeful outcomes.
And if you're a BAND-MAID fan watching this video, don't forget to smash a like as well. And if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel. I want to say a big thank you as well while we're actually on that subject, because we've had so many more subscribers, like 200 people and all that, 200 odd people smashing that subscribe button in the last 2 videos. It's absolutely been amazing. So thank you for all the love and support, guys.
And it was just because we kept on saying, hey, everyone, subscribe. We never pushed you before. We never pushed anyone to subscribe before. And then the minute we start saying it, people subscribe. So now all we're going to do is just going to constantly say the word subscribe over and over again.
Oh no, fuck that shit. I will tender my resignation to this channel.
We're going to become peak YouTubers. Subscribe, like, follow me on Insta and social and Twitter and I don't know, name TikTok. Follow me on the TikToks. And we're just going to, that's all we're going to do. And then it'll be like 10 seconds of material where we tell you what we think about something. All right, yeah, that was good.
Yeah, anyway, we could be like other channels where we just 10 seconds of the subject and talk about like crap all for like after that.
Sounds like we are like other channels.
And on that note, just dug us into a hole there, didn't you?
I was about to say, man, the setup was too clear. All right. Anyway, love to everyone at home. And until we hopefully see you for the next one of these Ears to the East, remember to like, subscribe, and keep your ears to the East. Ow, hit myself in the face. God damn.
Oh, you're such a fucking idiot. What the hell are you pointing to?